Hello, my name is Jennifer, and welcome to my speed build of the house I'm building for Alicia in House 1 of the Drifter Challenge. And you'll have seen some photos that have come by, and they are just the concept that my house is essentially based off of. And I don't have a floor plan per se, because while there was kind of a floor plan, there were various versions of it, and I sort of did an amalgamation of a few. So I thought it'd be too confusing to show that here. I do have a link, however, down below in the description if you'd like to see where this house came from. Now, this is going to be a 2-story house, and in the original floor plan, I think there was only 1 bedroom / you could make it an office on the ground floor, but as you know, I currently have a toddler, and from what I have read, it's best to have the toddler be on the main floor because it's easier for them to move around. So I figured I would have 2 bedrooms at the moment on the main floor as long as we have a toddler in the house. So later you'll see where I put the 2 bedrooms, and one of the spots near the front, the left hand side there with those doors, that is actually meant to be a living room. So later on we'll probably renovate this and just have everybody be upstairs, but at the moment, with it being a young family, I figured I would leave them on the main floor and the upstairs space. I just thought I would build the house completely and they will further move into it later. The upstairs is very sparsely furnished, which you'll see when we get there. And I was trying to figure out what poles to use because there are poles here in the floor plan. Or not the floor plan, in the actual house plan, in the picture. And then I am trying to figure out how to get this porch to be out, and that's what I end up doing there. And then of course there is also a little porch at the front, and I put a roof there in that little area, but later on I find that it interferes, that you can see the roof poking through because I have a stairway, and that so you can see the roof and it looks kind of silly, so I end up making it just flat, but that will come later. And I'm trying to think if those were I do change the poles. I decided I wanted a thinner column, I should say, because that's actually the proper term for it. It's not a pole, kind of looks like a pole, but it is a column. So I put the same at the front and the back. So that's kind of it, and I'm looking for what the front door is going to be. I don't remember if I exactly leave it there, and now I'm sort of laying out the floor plan of the ground floor. So that area there to the front right at the moment is where the bedroom will be, and where in the original floor plan there's a living room space. And where I essentially put the living room space is supposed to be a dining space. But we have some island counters later on in the kitchen. They can eat there. Plus, I find Sims will often just eat on the couch in front of the TV anyways, or on the bed, or the toddler's bed, or wherever they want to sit when they're eating, unless you can control them and tell them where to eat. I don't find they necessarily go where you expect them to go. And I use like a little floor fencing. What I started with was quite pricey, so I decided I would change that up, because much as she had earned a lot of money in the last part, I still didn't want to blow it all. Plus their bills will be higher the more expensive I make the house. So I'm trying to see. So I am looking for windows, trying to figure out what type of windows, because there are not so many windows on this side, which is funny because it's like the front of the house, the road side, but because the view is off over the river, I figured it was better to have like all the windows and stuff overlook the river and have that be the area that looked, which is really why I went with this floor plan, because I thought it was really fitting for this particular location in Oasis Springs, because they have kind of a neat view off that side of the house, and so that's where. And so I don't even end up putting any blinds in here, because essentially it's private because they're overlooking no one on the other side, so they get to have all the natural light. Plus I'm not really one in real life for lots of curtains, so I do sometimes use blinds, but there wasn't really anywhere that it was that necessary, I found, in this build, if I remember correctly. So I cannot remember if I used them here or not. I really don't. I do adjust this floor plan because this is more off of what I was seeing was done, but I end up making it more how I thought would work for them later when they, of course, move upstairs. Because like I said, at the moment, I have 2 bedrooms on the main floor just to make the living and dealing with the toddler easier. And I realized that I need more room for the kitchen, so I moved that whole thing over, which means I have to move the stairs and move the railing and all that stuff. So as you'll see, this upstairs is actually 3 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms upstairs, which we don't furnish, really. And now I'm going into my inventory and looking for the things and getting them all out. Normally when I build, I will add lights as I go, but because this is an existing house and I'm trying to use what they have, I didn't do that. But now I'm adding some lights from inventory and at this point adding a few extras, because of course this house is much bigger than what they had before, so they will need more lights, for sure. And there's all the bathroom things and the kitchen, going back and just grabbing stuff out of inventory and placing it in the house. And there's our cheap little couch and the bookcase. And things do get rearranged as I further build, because I'm look at it and figure out whether I like where it is. And I decided to get another potty because it's always good to have like about 2 potty chairs per child. And I figured that way Bella can go right there and not have to go all the way across. And I sold their old crappy counters and actually get them some decent ones. Not the highest end ones, but still better looking ones, so that it'll be nicer in there. So this is like a new part of the build that I do right here. And then I add an island there, of course, because I had an island before, because that was where I have the computer, on the island. And those things left in there are trash plants that I had happened to grow before we had a garbage, and I just left them in the inventory. So I'm doing some flooring, and this is actually sort of done kind of funny because I did all of this and for some reason wasn't recording it. Probably I forgot to turn it on. And so then I undid it all and started recording, so it's kind of a quick redo. Not the full rest of it, but just right here where I was decorating like the toddler room and moving things around. So that's why it's kind of a little quicker than I sometimes normally would build. And now we have, that's why it's a bit quick. Moving some things around, getting some lights. And it's a little bit hard. Hopefully this part gets done soon. Oh wait, and I'm doing the flooring because I add the floor and I tend to be consistent. I use the same tile all over the house. I use the same wood all over the house and then try and vary it up sometimes with like area rugs. I'm not sure if I did that here just because I did want to leave her with a good amount of money so that, you didn't have to worry about the bills that were going to be coming and whatnot. And she's just going to earn more. So, and the more you put in your house, the more expensive the bills are, as I think I mentioned already. So that's just adding some pictures, and then now it's back to me actually recording as I'm decorating, so it's a little bit easier to follow. And I did put some photos and whatnot up, so we will see in the next part whether or not, I don't know, I didn't check to see how many decorations I have up, because that's one thing you can do if you get, I think it's 15 decorations, then helps you with the first part of the Mansion Baron aspiration. But I didn't check to see whether we have that. We will have to see in the next part. And I'm adding, like I said, some lights. And I know I do rearrange things a little bit. Oh, I do get a carpet. So I do add that. Not anything too expensive, of course. But just something to define the area as being the living room area. And I hem and haw about whether I'm going to keep the original toy box they had, but then in the end I decided to get one that's a little bit nicer for the area. And that I had put the little chest that I put all of the various harvestables and collectibles that I haven't sold yet, I had stuck it outside, so I brought that back inside. And I have this garden gets moved many times while I'm doing the outside landscaping because it gets in the way. And I'm not sure whether they can listen to the radio when it's up on the foundation a little bit. I was watching something where someone did like a sunken living room and the TV was up on the wall because it was a wall-mounted TV, and I guess it wasn't usable because it was a sunken living room, like they had essentially broken through the foundation area and had stairs going by, but because the TV was up on the wall that was on the, i.e. the level above, they couldn't actually watch the TV. So I'm not sure whether that radio could be used if I put it up on the porch because it is slightly raised. So when I'm in the game, we will try it and see if it works. And there's the good old woohoo / bush for fertilizing I put out at the front. And this is where I realized that if I want to put some plants over there, I'm going to have to move my garden even further over. So she's not got very much room for adding anything to her garden, I have to say. But, she's not really doing that much gardening in the game. So that's okay. And that tree was too big, so I get rid of it. I kind of wanted a tree, but I think in the end I decided they're all a bit big, and I just go with like lower laying things. And even those rocks were bigger than I wanted, which is why I didn't use them. So I go back to that purple, whatever it is, and then I do some terrain paint all over the place. I think later I changed the color just a little bit in some of the areas because it occurred to me that perhaps it wasn't the best color for this neighborhood. It's kind of got a green tinge to it, is the word I'm looking for. And here you go, that's where I do it. But I just sort of do it right at the front. And I accidentally painted under Jared, so I had erased that. And I'm adding some lights here to the outside, or to the road view of the house where you come in. I don't know that I add any on the other side. I can't remember. We may need that later on. And here I get a treadmill for Jared because he had a whim for that. And I'm updating the number of bedrooms and bathrooms of the house. And there's my traits: home studio, homey, and child's play. And I'm taking a look to see if I need anything else. And I realize I need some windows on that side. But that's it. That's the build. That's the house. There's the view from the road. And then we will have a view from the back that overlooks the river. And here's the concept art that inspired me versus a shot of the house from the same position. And thanks very much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye! If you have any comments or suggestions, please leave them below. I'd love to see them. If you like the video, please leave a like. And if you'd like to see more, please subscribe if you haven't already done so. I'd really appreciate it. Thanks very much.